Hey everybody, welcome to Sequence 2, Day 1. Now, we're going to focus a little bit more on this blue chart than we have in the past because this blue chart is what Health Reconnected Technologies is all about. What this chart is doing is it's showing how the cycles of the Earth are going to unfold for the next 4 days and how the cycles of the Earth in the next 4 days are directly connected to and going to affect the four quadrants of the human body. Okay, so we're going to connect this graph together with the space-time clocks because I want you to see what's happening here. So these space-time clocks, this is actually a live feed that we have embedded at the Health Reconnected website. And what it's doing is if you navigate to this and hit play, it's showing the exact cycles that are in control, the earthly cycles that are in control, and how those earthly cycles are connected to the human body. And there are 12 different cycles that are affecting us at any given time. There are 6 cycles from this clock, the space clock, which has to do with how we get along with first person perspectives. And there are 6 cycles that have to do with the time clock that have to do how we get along with the larger social perspectives. And what we're supposed to do is when you think about these cycles of the earth, we're supposed to be able to bring our first person perspectives, how we intermingle with all the other people, together with a common collective understanding of what we should be doing as individuals, families, interconnected nations, so that we can balance our world. You see, the cycles of the earth are only about balance and growth. That's why we go through 4 seasons, like we go in the spring, we have new birth. Then summer, we start to develop that new birth or that new idea. Then at fall, what we do is we start to harvest. We refine the things that we learned. And then at winter, we put them into our life so that the next season, we can become a better version of ourselves. The earth is this constant seasonal cycle of growth. And the only thing that stops us from growing is our negative human bias. Our body is designed to be negative, and that's why I've been sending out all the alarms to you. Now, everybody that's been getting the alerts, they come pretty much every day. Very rarely is there a day where you're not being influenced to be negative. Now, what that does is it creates negative patterns that then hurt our relationships in our family and our communities, and it creates negative patterns that then don't get us to focus on why it's important to unify and come together and work together to create a healthier social structure for our earth and a healthier future climate for our earth. When you look around, it's the opposite. Our climate is deteriorating fast, and people don't even like to watch the news anymore because of all of the social disruption. This is part of our human design, and it's part of what we're trying to overcome. Okay. Now, what this graph is doing is it's showing how these 12 different cycles of the earth, how they're going to unfold and how they're going to affect the body over the next 4 days. In fact, we actually break it down into all four quadrants. So you can literally scan these and you can see there's some small numbers on the side here. So halfway through the graph is 4, all the way to the top is 8, and all the way to the bottom is obviously 0. So for left upper quadrant for the next 4-day period, it's pretty much around 4 cycles affecting the upper left quadrant the majority of the time. You can see it kind of backs down just a little bit here, day 3 and day 4, but left upper quadrant is going to have quite a few cycles over the next 4 days that are constantly going to be interacting with our bodies. Same thing here, upper right quadrant. You can see on day 1 and day 2, the upper right quadrant is more than 4 cycles affecting the body. And this is everybody, not just one of us. This is all the life forms, all the humans. Then day 2 to day 3, it kind of backs down. And then at the end of day 4, that right upper quadrant is going to have a lot more going on because the cycles of the earth, a lot of them are aligning. So if people experience more upper right quadrant pain at the beginning on day 1 or day 2, or they experience it more on day 4, that would just be mathematically probable. The more cycles that are connected to and affecting that part of the body, the more likely it is somebody's going to feel that. Now, it's pretty obvious to see that it's a little bit different down here. Like on day 1 and day 2, for the left lower quadrant, you can see there's quite a bit more going on here than at the end of day 3 and day 4. It's almost nothing. And it's the reverse on the right lower quadrant. You see how it starts out pretty light. There are only a few cycles that are going to be testing the right lower quadrant on day 1, But by the time we get to day 3 and day 4, there are going to be a lot of earthly cycles that are going to affect the quadrant of the right lower side of the body. Now, what we want to be here is we want to be in balance with the earthly cycles. The earthly cycles are trying to teach us how to become more positive, how to have better relationships with our family members, with our community members, and then how to start to bridge those relationships to common understandings that start to unify our world. Not just our towns, not just our countries, but the entire world. That's what we're supposed to be working together. That's how, as a collective population, we grow and we become positive together. Now, for people who are having problems with negativity, where they're not getting along with certain members of society or certain members of their family, or they're not investing their time in strategies that are going to leave this world a better, more peaceful place, then unfortunately they're going to be out of balance with these earthly cycles. And when you're out of balance with the earthly cycle, that's when you're going to get pain. So if you start to notice that you have a lot more shoulder discomfort on day 1 and day 2, and then it kind of backs down, it's not that you've done something right or wrong. It's that you just didn't realize what it is that what was happening. You didn't realize the cycles of the earth have so much power. In fact, they have absolute power. There's nothing we can do about it. We either decide to grow and mature and overcome our negativity. If we don't do that, then what our software does is it's going to predict when you hurt. Now, that's how you read this down here. Up here, these colors up here have to do with when the cycles change. So when a cycle changes to a new cycle, it creates either a negative or a positive electromagnetic force. Now, don't let those fancy words fool you. It just creates an agitation. We feel it. You ever gone into a room and been like, oh, I don't like how this feels? We can feel the electromagnetic field that the earth creates. We exist within this field. And when these cycles change, they sometimes change together. And when they change together, they create an external agitation. So you've heard me talk about, hey, this is a full moon kind of day. A full moon kind of day is when you see a lot of magenta. Now, this is not that strong, okay? If we fast forward, I'll show you what it looks like when a full moon day comes. This is a full moon week. You see how much more is happening during sequence 4. This is going to be September 13th. I want you to see the difference here. These collective agitation levels are what cause us all to go bananas at the same time. It's aggravating our defensive design, and it's distracting us from calm, peaceful, kind relationship. Super important to know this. So in sequence 2, are we going to have some collective agitation? Absolutely. So that's what these top 3 colors are. This is combined agitation. The purple shows agitation between our social perspectives. So this is the idea of which religion's right, which government is right. Is it Republican or Democratic? Those are all the wrong answers. If we argue and fight and don't come together to create a better future social environment and a better climate and stable environment, then we all pay. Same thing down here. The blue has to do with first-person agitation. This is when we're going to be likely to have problems with the people that we see on a day-to-day basis, the people we work with, the people we live with. So watching these graphs is going to be very important in addition to seeing your own individual rhythms. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about in this video is what's going on up here. So these are alignments. An alignment is when 2 cycles of the earth synchronize. And when they synchronize, what they do is they create a very strong amplified moment. And when you start to pay attention to this, you're going to realize that weather disasters, for example, happen during these amplified moments. But the other thing that happens during these amplified moments is our bodies hurt more. We'll feel it. So I know that people say, oh, I can feel there's a storm coming. No, what you feel is you feel the amplified moment where 2 cycles are coming together that creates the storm. Your body's connected to these amplified moments, and that's what makes your arthritis feel more during those times. Now, when you see these alignments, so if we're looking at day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4, if you have problems with neck and shoulder pain, if you have problems with digestion, upper digestion like stomach problems, lung problems, anything that has to do with anything that goes on in the upper quadrants of the body, and you're out of balance with the cycles of the earth, and again, the cycles of the earth are about creating a better future, a more positive future. So if you're not doing that, the more you're not doing it, the more negative you are, and the more you're letting your body create negative behavioral patterns, the more you're going to suffer and feel these when these moments come. So people that have memory problems, headaches, anything in that upper quadrant, like day 2 is going to be a difficult day for my dad. He will have headaches and he will have problems focusing on this day because, honest to gosh, my dad is not getting up every day and thinking to himself, how can I contribute to a world where the social structure becomes stronger and unified? And what do I need to do to make sure that I'm doing my part to help stabilize the future climate so that future generations of children don't have more stress because of what we're doing now? Now, for my dad to actually heal, have less headaches, and slow this down, those are the kind of changes that we're trying to introduce to his routine. If he doesn't make those changes, then his condition continues to deteriorate and it will go faster during these moments in time. So day 2 will be challenging for my dad, and so will day 4. If you're a person that has problems with low back stuff, knee pain, hip pain, digestive issues, day 3, see this red and orange here? That's going to come to the lower quadrants. See this? Now, these are relatively small. You can see on day 2, we've got an orange one here. So when you look at your personal charts, and I want you to start to think to yourself, what parts of my body don't feel so good? And then what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to know when it's likely those parts are going to kind of act up on you. And now you're starting to understand what has to change. One, we have to break free of this negativity and we have to start embracing positivity. And the longer it takes us to embrace positive future strategies that are proactive, that are here to help make things better, and the more we ignore that responsibility, the faster we age, the more we hurt. You see how the earth is in absolute control? The earth is the creation that makes our lives possible. Without this earthly creation, we don't exist. To not serve the earth has serious consequences, and this is what Health Reconnected is getting ready to share with the entire world. You guys are just getting the refined, packaged message, so thank you for letting me to develop this with you. Now, I'm going to fast forward this so you can understand what the pattern of chaos looks like and why our bodies don't seem to feel like they follow a pattern that we can make sense of. So if we go to sequence 3, you see how day 1, we're going to have to worry about some low back stuff. Day 3, we've got a little bit of low back stuff, but the alignments in sequence 3, they're not that much. Now, if we go to sequence 4, completely different. And you're going to see down here how much the quadrants of the body. So this is 4 days of testing. These are how the cycles of the earth are going to be connected to the body. So you can see by the time we get to sequence 4, left lower quadrant, holy smokes, this has really come up a lot from where we were right here. Look at nothing, hardly anything. So this is why it feels like our pain shifts around. That's how this works. Now, this is important because you're going to see me transition. Talking to everybody, I'm going to start encouraging them, if they're having problems, to start thinking about how to fix themselves, not with using, a physical strategy like massage can help you feel better, but it isn't going to change your routine. A drug might take your headache away or might take your anxiety away, but it's not going to change your routine. Now, should we use that stuff as we're trying to change our routine so we don't suffer as much? Absolutely. All right, so let's end this thing out with what this is all about right here. Global Citizen Pledge. Global meaning the earth. That we pledge that we're going to create future positive changes in our life that are going to help all of the first and third person choices that we make. That's what a Global Citizen Pledge is. That's why it's on this blue document, because what a Global Citizen Pledge will do is it'll heal you. You see, if you start to become in balance with these earthly cycles, instead of them causing accelerated aging, pain, death, and disease, what it does is it actually amplifies your body's ability to heal, restore itself, and slow aging. So what we want to do is we want to start pledging our service to the earth that makes our existence possible. And when we pledge to the earth, we don't just pledge to the earth, but we pledge to all of the other things that exist with us on the earth, all the other life forms. We have to start to balance our choices in a way that's going to help all the other life forms, and it's going to unify those life forms in a way that helps to balance the earth. Now, if you make this pledge to become a better earthly citizen, that you're going to synchronize with the cycles of the earth, you can literally slow aging, you can stop or minimize your suffering, you can even empower your body to start to heal itself. But your body cannot heal if you're out of balance with these cycles. And because we're designed to be negative as a human, That's what causes us to age and eventually die. Now, even if you do this, will you be able to live forever? The answer is no. Could you live a lot longer and have a lot nicer existence while you're here? Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's going to happen when we embrace the positivity that it takes to become a global citizen of this earth. Okay, that's pretty good stuff. I hope you guys enjoy this. And going forward, you're going to hear me start to talk about if you have pains in your body, it's because you're out of balance with the cycles of the earth. And come to the website whenever you're ready. We fully disclose how this works. And I'm here to help every one of you feel better, be here longer, and enjoy more while you're here. Sounds great. Talk to you soon.